We're going to get old Jonesy to come over and spout a few poems here before we have dinner tonight. So let's give him a little hand to come up here and have a little cowboy poem.
Thank you, folks. Yeah, mountain days and Old West days wouldn't be quite the same without some cowboy poetry. Now this one here is one based on true events of last summer that happened to me. So I went home and wrote the poem about it. And it's called Whitewater Cowboy. Well, the grandkids called me up one day and said to the Snake River they was headed to play. They urged me to get off my pony and come and ride on the raft and have lots of fun. Well, I've been working quite hard. I could use a break. Fixing fence and bucking hay is making my back ache. So against my better judgment, I decided to go. Come on, Grandpa Jonesy, they pleaded. I couldn't say no. Well, we met at West Table Creek, according to plan. They was dressed all in swim togs and had a beautiful tan. My western shirt and jeans looked quite out of place. My cowboy hat and boots they said they'd replace. Well, in the trunk of their car, they found t-shirt and cap, which sort of fit, but on me looked like crap. But try as they might, they couldn't find shorts, but it was plain my Wranglers were quite out of sorts. So I took out my Leatherman and cut above the knees. My lily white legs could now feel the breeze. And what a sight they were, having never seen sun. The color of mayonnaise, the grandkids poked fun. I insisted my boots would have to stay on. A mighty tough argument, but I finally won. So now, somewhat decked out in rafting attire, I was ready for anything, no matter how dire. They unloaded the raft. It ain't got no saddle. Where do I sit? They said I'm astraddle one of the chambers, the big tube that goes round. It don't look safe to me. What if I drown? It's perfectly safe, they lied through their teeth. Just wear this life jacket and you won't go beneath the water if you should happen to fall out of the raft. I'm beginning to think these kids are plumb daft. They hand me a stick instead of some reins. I'd quit right now if I had any brains. The flat end of this stick is meant to propel the raft down the river or straight down to, well, they shove off from the bank. The feeling is weird. It's spongy and pitchy, just as I feared. They teach me to row this gall-darn contraption. I think I've got it. I'm ready for action. The first bouncy wave gives me quite a start. My bowels contract and let out a fart. The kids yell, "Grandpa!" but I shift the blame. This tube sprung a leak. My excuse rather lame. Through Station Creek Rapid and Blue Trail Wave, floating past Dragon's Back, I try to be brave. Then a mile-long calm stretch they call gauging straits. My heart finally rests from its palpitates. They warn me what's coming up around the bend. The mighty kahuna, a wave that will send you straight to the bottom if you don't hit it right. Their words of caution give me a fright. I have a death grip on my flattened end stick. The big one is coming. This sure ain't no crick. The wave's frothy top is towering above. It slams into the raft and gives me a shove. Over I go into the deep. All I can think of is blinkety blank bleep. I'm holding my breath and my paddle too. I'm glad I donated to search and rescue. When I finally surface, I'm gasping for air, and I see that the raft is no longer there. I feel a great panic welling inside. Drowned in a river, they'll say how I died. Then from somewhere behind, a hand grabs my collar. "I've got him now," I hear grandson holler. They drag me aboard this murderous boat. I'm coughing up water from deep in my throat. They have a good laugh at Grandpa's expense. You'd think they'd want to make recompense. But no time to lecture. The river is flowing. On toward Lunch Counter Rapid we're going. I hardly get set when those monstrous waves pound us. "Dad, blame this river," I fervently cuss. Over I go, again in the water. I'm gonna die, like a lamb to the slaughter. This time when I come up, I'm madder than, well, this rubber bronc has tossed me twice before the 8-second bell. It's been years since I was piled by a renegade horse. Now this rubber cayuse has cause for remorse, for I vow my revenge on this raft and this river. I feel resentment clear down to my liver. I cowboy up as I climb back in and straddle that tube with an evil grin. California curl wave is just dead ahead. I take my flat stick and I chop off its head. I yell and I scream at each passing wave. My anger and shame has made me real brave. I jab each white wave with a stick in my hand and yell, "Curse you, Moby Dick, you'll soon wear my brand." I get madder and madder as the raft churns along. Hate fills my heart for doing me wrong. Only one big rapid left, and it's looming ahead. Gates of Paradise has claimed its share of the dead. This rubber bronc is bucking like out of the chutes. I'm gripping its sides with my cowboy boots. We hit that last wave with hammer and force. This rubber bronc rears just like a mean horse. I wear back my heels as the beast starts to lunge and drive them hard into its sides as we plunge. A loud pop is heard. The rubber bronc goes down and leaves us all swimming around. One piece of advice a cowboy should take: don't wear your spurs when you whitewater the snake. Thank you. Now, as we eat tonight, they'll have a moment of silence so we can all thank the Lord in our own way for the meal that's prepared for us. And this poem right here is about why you shouldn't wait till the very last day before you start talking to the man upstairs. It's called The Rancher's Last Prayer. Well, old Zeke the rancher went one day to fix a distant fence. The wind was cold and gusty. The clouds rolled gray and dense. As he pounded his last staple in and gathered tools to go, the temperature had fallen, wind and snow began to blow. When he finally reached his pickup, he felt a heavy heart. From the sound of that ignition, he knew it wouldn't start. So old Zeke did what most of us would do if we'd been there. He humbly bowed his balding head and said aloft a prayer. Well, he turned the key for one last time, then softly cursed his luck. They found him 3 days later, frozen stiff in that old truck. Now, Zeke had been around in life. He had done his share of roaming. But when he saw heaven, he was shocked. It looked just like Wyoming. Of course, there were a few changes, for Rock Springs had been sent down below. And the wind in Casper and Cheyenne had entirely ceased to blow. And the temperature in Jackson Hole was no longer 37 below. Now, there were apostles and prophets in heaven, Zeke knew, and he had a question he wanted to ask them. So he looked around and he finally found a few. Now, of all the saints in heaven, his favorite was St. Peter, perhaps because Zeke liked to fish, just like the apostles' leader. So they sat and they talked an hour or two, or maybe it was 3. Nobody was keeping score. In heaven, time is free. Now, I've always heard, Zeke said to St. Pete, that God would answer prayer, but that last time when I really needed him, well, God just wasn't there. Now, does he answer prayers of some and ignore the prayers of others? That don't seem exactly square. I know all men are brothers. Or does he randomly reply without good rhyme or reason? Perhaps it is the time of day, the weather, or the season. Now, I ain't trying to act smart. It's just the way I feel. And I was wondering, could you tell me just what the heck's the deal? Well, St. Peter listened very patiently until old Zeke was done. Then there were smiles of recognition, and he said, "So you're the one. That day when your truck wouldn't start and you sent your prayer flying, you gave us all a real bad time with thousands of us trying. 100 angels rushed to check the status of your file. But Zeke, seems we hadn't heard from you in quite a little while. And though all prayers are answered, and God has got that quota, we didn't recognize your voice, and we started a truck in North Dakota."